Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television, and this is the truth about the sinister and silent American revolt that is currently taking place by the radical left over the past several decades with a, again, silent and covert plot to overthrow the United States government. Now, all of this is straight out of the Saul Alinsky handbook. It's really the Bible for the radical left, for people like Hillary Rodham Clinton, who's going to be, again, running for president, this oligarchy of Clintons and Bushes that just continues into infinity. Of course, the current president, Barack Hussein Obama, was also an Alinskyite, all of them following the handbook, really the Bible for overthrowing the government and what America stood for without firing a single shot. And I think this is a concept that a lot of people don't understand, that this has been a silent death of America. We have filmmakers like Dinesh D'Souza, who's being unfairly persecuted and targeted by the Obama administration, for example, for making films that are anti this type of leftist movement.
You may also be going to prison. We know that you were...
Again, these policies and the strategy that's been put in place over the years to overthrow the constitutional republic, and again, without firing a single shot. Now they're coming after the guns, of course, since America has already largely been taken over and hijacked by these people. And see, what these people have worked towards over the years, these community organizers, people like the president, Barack Hussein Obama, and Hillary Clinton, is basically they have organized, as is the definition of a community organizer, the top leaders in finance, banking, politics, media, and the military, with Obama recently firing a lot of 5-star, 4-star generals, basically everybody that had held a position of power within the United States military, and revamping that, basically had formed and has already formed a cartel of these people, all with the same agenda, and that agenda being to overthrow the United States of America, which is exactly what's happened. Again, forming the cartel, the leadership in finance and banking, as we've seen with the financial bailouts in 2008 and the trillions of dollars spent in the Ponzi scheme that was initiated again because of the financial elites and their practices and unfair lending standards, creating these egregious and aggressive bubbles so they could profit, and then wipe out the masses and then take all the real estate and all the financial assets, which is exactly what has happened. Forming those relationships in finance and with the criminal private Federal Reserve. Also forming those relationships politically amongst their constituents and selling ideas that resonate with the groundlings, the people, things like hope and change, but really doing nothing to fulfill those promises at all. Instead, passing things like the National Defense Authorization Act, where the president can black bag any American citizen without trial, judge, or jury, or any kind of representation for that matter. The illegal wiretapping by the NSA, those anti-constitutional practices, the unfair targeting of conservative groups and members of the Tea Party, Benghazi Gate, etc., etc. All of this a part of the cartel of finance, banking, politics, and of course media, which is dominated and is a statist agenda backed by the U.S. federal government and these people in power like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, that literally, implicitly, through these organizations, own the media today and therefore influence public opinion. They can influence opinion about what's happening in the Middle East. They can influence opinion about what's happening with the economy, with people making purchases and their confidence levels. All these things we're seeing right now in Syria and the greater Iraq unfolding and pre-planned manufactured conflict, or whether or not this is Ukraine and our relationship with Russia and Edward Snowden and the leaks from truth tellers like these people and others like Julian Assange of WikiLeaks. All of this a part of the silent overthrow and the silent revolution. Again, the book Rules for Radicals, which I encourage you to read, which was written by Saul Alinsky, is just a playbook, literally play by play, on how to overthrow the constitutional republic, which is exactly what's happened through the years. Obama, a Alinskyite, Hillary Clinton, a Alinskyite, and many others politically in these positions of power, again, having formed this cartel in banking, finance, at the Federal Reserve, within the political spectrum, the mainstream media, companies like CNN, MSNBC, even Fox News. It doesn't matter. Again, the right-left paradigm is dead. It's all about creating a war in the matrix to give you the impression, the false impression really, that you are free, that there's a political process, that there's a democracy, that again there's a constitutional republic. All of this has successfully transitioned over the past few years, and now they're moving to the last stage, which is the military stage, which is why they're going aggressively after guns. It's why they're manufacturing even some of these false flag terrorist events that many have surmised, like Sandy Hook and the Batman Massacre. And even if these events had occurred legitimately, without the influence of the federal government, and again, it's been proven throughout history, the historical context, that the government has been responsible for false flags before, like Gulf of Tonkin, which has been proven, which began and caused the entrance of America into the War of Vietnam, which cost thousands and thousands of American lives, and of course, estimates of some hundreds of thousands of lives overseas. We're seeing the same thing in the Middle East right now. Again, this merger of this cartel fulfilling the agenda step by step. And now in the military phase now, they basically have institutionalized America to the point where Americans have silently given up all their freedom, all of their rights, and now they're going after the guns because this is really the last leg to secure the full-blown overhaul of what was once America, established some 230 plus odd years ago. That's why they are leveraging these crises. It's why they're leveraging what's happening in the Middle East. They're leveraging these school shootings, these terrorist acts by our own domestic civilians, by the way. It makes you kind of wonder about our society in general, how good America could actually be with kids committing these heinous acts of violence, at least allegedly, if you believe the official story. Even events like Flight MH370, which any idiot would know and understand had been hijacked, but was also a gross cover-up by international surveillance agencies, whether or not it's the NSA, the CIA, or the FBI, or the international community at large, not wanting to raise fears among the general public not to travel. Again, costing potentially the travel industry billions and billions of dollars if they were to learn the truth that the plane was hijacked, whether or not it was remotely or it was with terrorists on board that disappeared the plane. Some of these victims, maybe even potentially still alive, docked in a hangar, maybe being retrofitted with a nuclear bomb of some sort in a much more sinister round 2 or phase 2 of the terrorist plot, and potentially an attack here on American soil. And again, all of this, of course, puts America at risk. America is now at greater risk than it's ever been in the history, I think, of the country. Not only being overthrown internally by these terrorists, these financial terrorists on Wall Street that forced bailouts anti-constitutionally on the American people, whether or not it's these criminal politicians that have been implementing these anti-American policies at the highest level in law of the land. Same politicians committing perjury, people like Bill Clinton committing perjury and lying on the stand of the American public, which is a felony, that he did not have sexual relationships with this woman. You see, these people literally get away with murder. Quite literally, killing estimates of hundreds and hundreds of thousands overseas. Just in the Middle Eastern conflict that's been occurring over the past several decades. Again, no difference between Republicans on the right or Democrats on the left. All of this a part of the machine. And what you need to be aware of that is not only has this already occurred, but now we're in the final stage of the attack. And that is, they want you to give up your guns. They want to take your ability away from you to defend yourself, which again is about as American as America gets, because of how the country was founded. It's the Second Amendment for a reason, because it protects the First Amendment, freedom of speech. All of this they're cracking down on, and all of this is under attack right now. And that is why it is so important that Americans, and we're an example to the rest of the world, that we do not give up our weapons to defend ourselves. We do not give up our constitutional Second Amendment right to defend ourselves, our liberty, our country, our Constitution, and most importantly, the Republic itself. Not only are you and your family depending on it, but our children, and really the future and sanctity of this great nation is depending on it. And it's all much bigger than us. A nation, by the way, founded under God and founded by great people, at least in my mind, that were not perfect, but had an amazing and unbelievable vision for a country that was based on liberty, opportunity, freedom for all, and that was a just situation in a just place. Again, a reason that so many people are funneling into the country right now, which is, again, another planned event in order to destabilize America internally. All of this a part of the Revolutionary Handbook. All of this a part of the Alinsky Playbook. Obama himself, a very high-ranking Alinskyite. Hillary Clinton, the likely next 2016 president of the United States, a high-ranking Alinskyite. And all of this a part of the program. Just take a look for yourself and see exactly what's happened step by step by step. We need to defend ourselves, America. We need to raise our voices. We need to step up to the plate, and we need to acknowledge that our country's been hijacked by these terrorists. And we need to realize that it's up to us to defend the very liberty, law, and freedom of all people and this great land known as America and the United States. I'm Christopher Green. Get it out everywhere, make it viral, hard-hitting it in your face, and click the link below to support our sponsor.